My name is Ian Hislop. I am the guest curator of the British Museum's Citi exhibition, I Object, Ian Hislop's Search for Dissent. That's my name twice, which is quite egotistical. But anyway, there we are. Welcome to my corner. I was asked to have a look at the British Museum collection to see if I could find any evidence of dissent. Normally the view you get in the British Museum is that of the kings, the rulers. It's their mummies, their statues, their jewellery, their swords, their pottery. It's their version of events. And what I was asked to do was to find people who questioned that. People who thought, well, I don't agree with that. And people who thought, I'd like some other narrative. The most surprising thing was just how far back people have taken the risk of making things that say, essentially, no, I don't buy this, I won't have it, which I find immensely cheerful. So all the way back to, a brick in Assyria that someone's put their own name on, to Egyptian, slightly pornographic graffiti done by workmen, through the ages, through the continents, anything to, a yellow umbrella used in the recent Hong Kong democracy protests. So the sheer range of it was what I found amazing. I think that my favourite object is the Stonyhurst Salt, which is it's basically a salt cellar, but it isn't. This is an object that dates from a time when the Catholic faith was being outlawed and repressed in England. And so the Catholics had very elaborate holders to put in the sacrament, the body and blood of Christ. And then all this was banned. But yet, here is a salt cellar dating from this period, which was used as tableware, which is quite clearly not a salt cellar, but a host. It's got beads of red blood on it. It's got actually the form of crosses. It's made out of the materials that signify Christ. And I always found it marvellous, the idea that people have got this on the table and someone saying, that wouldn't be Catholic, would it? And they go, oh no, that's for the salt. Could you pass it? It's full of false salt, you see. And it just clearly isn't. And it's that phrase, hiding in plain sight, which we use quite a lot in the exhibition, which is about objects that everybody knows what you're up to, but they can't quite prove it. People are very keen to say, well, it doesn't make any difference, does it? Essentially, people let off steam or whatever. I think letting off steam is pretty good. I think it's a genuinely good thing for people to do, to be able to sort of allow themselves this sort of form of protest. But also, there is, for example, one fantastic object in the collection, which is a forged banknote. And this is by the artist George Cruikshank, working in the 19th century. And at the time, they were hanging people for counterfeiting notes, and they were hanging people for passing on counterfeit notes. And Cruikshank said, all right, here's a counterfeit note. And it's basically British currency, but he's changed the pound sign into a rope. Instead of being signed by the governor of the Bank of England, it's signed by the hangman, Jack Ketch. There's a row of people hanging along the top, and he's got a picture of Britannia stuffing her own children into her mouth. It's a fantastic piece, and the law was changed. He did boast about it rather a lot afterwards, but it's a fairly straightforward object that got something changed. I find it very cheering that people have always said, no, I don't think so, and have always felt either brave enough or fed up enough to make the protest. So I do find that sort of consistency very pleasing. I gather there was some controversy at the British Museum when the phrase homo religiosus was put on an exhibition, as though one of mankind's things had always been to be religious. And I've got a slight temptation to do homo dissentus, because I feel it's pretty much in the human DNA. Thank you for listening to this Curator's Corner. There are lots of other Curator's Corners, obviously. They're not as interesting, but they're all right. And if you wanted to find them, they are on the British Museum YouTube channel. So I would subscribe to that. If you want any more information or tickets to the exhibition, click on the skull. Never thought I'd say that.